Just trying to drain this actuator. That's all the fluid that was inside of this thing. Figured this would be the best way to drain it out. I'm going to have to hold it here for a while. Uh-oh. I think my pump's kicking off or something. Got a vacuum pump going here. Obviously I've got a big leak somewhere now, but ooh, something was clogged. Weird. So this is just a little rig that I built for like wet vacuuming things. It's also good for a bubbler on distillation processes and things like that. It keeps all that crap from getting sucked up into my pump. I don't know if you can see how I've got that hooked up. Okay, so I'm still just trying to purge all the oil out of this thing. I used this transmission fluid mixed with regular oil because I wanted the dye to let me be able to see leaks a little bit better. I wanted to put some kind of dye in the acetone, but I haven't done a test yet to see how water and acetone mix. And I also thought about breaking open like a Pilot ink pen to use that as a dye, just in case food coloring won't mix with the acetone. I'm going to do a test to figure that out. From what I've read, water is slightly mixable with acetone, which would make sense because fingernail polish remover I don't think is pure acetone. Pretty sure it has some water in it. So that's one of the reasons why I used this red fluid, was so I could see leaks. I'm probably going to let this rig sit here for a while, just to give you kind of a rundown of what I got going on here. I've got such a mess going you can't see anything. Basically just using this vacuum pump to draw all the oil out of my big thermal actuator there. I'm saying big because that one's far smaller as far as capacity goes. That's how much fluid was inside of that thing. Fairly impressive. This thing was completely empty. So I didn't even do any data on the pressure on this thing because I just wasn't happy with the performance time-wise. I may come back to that later, but right now I really just want to get this thing filled up with acetone. Because this stuff is working so much better. Now I do believe this thing had an air bubble in it last time, so we may see some different performance on the cool down. I'm gonna make an educated guess and say that it's not going to cool off quite as fast this time because there was a rather large gas pocket in there. Almost this entire coupling was full of just acetone vapor or air, whatever you want to call it. So that would explain the slow pressure up, because it's gradually pressurizing the air as it expands very slowly. And every time you decrease this gap by twice, you double the pressure, which would also explain the sudden spike in pressure, because if I'm at zero pressure here, I'm at like 28 psi here, or whatever twice atmospheric pressure is. And so if that's 28, by the time I get to here, you're double the pressure again. When you get to here, you've doubled it again. And the movement just gets smaller and smaller, and you double the pressure each time. But when you cool a gas off, I could see that having an effect a lot quicker than a liquid. I don't know. This is all theory at this point. We'll see if it cools off as quick. This thing seems to be about done. I'm not sure if I fully explained what this part is. This is basically a wet vac system that I've designed. I didn't design it, but I built this anyway. I mean, this is what I meant.